Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Everlast MX2 boxing gloves. So check it out. Okay guys, so today I'm doing a close-up weigh-in and review on the Everlast MX2 boxing gloves. I got mine in 16-ounce lace-up in the red colorway. The red on these gloves is more of a burgundy compared to the original MXs, which were a little bit more of a brighter red. These are deeper red. It's full genuine leather construction, handmade in Mexico. The leather itself has more of a matte finish to it. And the foam composition, I would say, is more of a medium to soft density over the knuckle area. So you definitely get a nice bang and pop out of these gloves. You have the traditional Everlast logo on the back of the glove, the MX logo on the thumb, and there's no seam between the thumb and the main hand compartment, which is something you'll notice with a lot of gloves where they'll have a seam right there. With this one doesn't. It says made in Mexico on the back of the glove. One quality control thing I noticed on here, they left an M on here. I'm assuming that's, I don't know if that means medium or someone's initial, but it looks like they wrote on it and just kind of left the writing on, so they should have wiped that off in my opinion, but it is what it is. The back of the glove has about, I'd say maybe a ½ inch of medium density padding. The inside of the wrist has about maybe a ¼ inch of padding. The inside liner is a combination of a kind of like a nylon liner as well as a micro suede on the inside. So the back of the wrist, you have that micro suede, and it varies inside the glove, which I'll explain here in a little bit. It does say MXTG 16 for the weight. And the big thing you'll notice here is with the wrist support. You now have these wings, very similar to like what they did with the Power Lock 2.0s, where you have the wings that have the laces that go through it. So it gives you a much more tight, locked in feel around your wrist because the wings kind of overlap and it really locks your fist in. So you get a lot more wrist support compared to the originals. You have a gold piping around the thumb, a leather attached thumb, and a really nice large grip bar right there. No ventilation holes. It does get pretty hot in here. And here's the finger compartment. One thing these gloves kind of remind me of when you look at the shape of them is they had kind of like an old school look, almost like the Donardo gloves in terms of just, it has kind of an old school bulby, rounded look in the finger and fist area. That kind of gives it a kind of a vintage look to it. And that's the same with the right glove as well. So I'll show you guys kind of a close up. Stitching, definitely could be better in certain areas right there. Could be a little bit cleaner. One thing you'll notice too with these gloves side to side is the left finger compartment is a little bit more narrow. See how it's kind of rounded, where this one kind of comes down and then it has a flatter spot. One thing I noticed is with my right hand, it felt more comfortable than my left. This one feels like it was a little bit cramped. And what was happening was my pinky finger was actually rubbing into my ring finger. So it's almost like it kind of tucked underneath it when I was making a fist because of how narrow this section was. So to me, that's definitely a quality issue when it comes to the shape and the form of the foam. So you can see that right there compared to this one, which is a little bit rounded and then kind of flattens out. To me, this is the more comfortable and better shape of the two. So that you have that there. Again, just to kind of show you guys both gloves next to each other. The MX logos look good. The colors are nice and vibrant. Here's the stitching on the inside. You also have this inside tag, which shows where it's manufactured, and the size, kind of hard to show you guys there. And so there you have it. So let's go ahead and put these on the scale, see how much they weigh. Hopefully they're on point with weight, but we shall see. Easier said than done, right? So right glove is right at 16.1, so almost exactly on weight, which is great, especially for a Mexican glove. Typically they're always overweight. And the left glove is right at 15.8. So they're basically almost exactly on point with weight. 15.9, I put the lace back on top. So they're about 0.1, 0.2 ounces off of each other, but almost exactly on 16 ounces, which is great to see. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm excited to bring you guys a review of the newly released Everlast MX2 boxing gloves. I got mine in this dark red. It's almost like a maroon colorway. 16 ounces and a lace-up closure. They also have this in a hook and loop Velcro, and 12, 14, and 16 ounces, as well as all white and all black and a limited edition gold colorway that you can all check out on the Everlast website. Now, these are the successor to the original Everlast MX gloves, which were often compared to the Cleto Reyes training gloves. And over the years, they were pretty popular. To me, wasn't really a huge fan of the MX line when it came to all the other Mexican gloves I tried out. Obviously, I've Reyes, Zeppel. I did my original New Sportings, Lopez. I mean, there's so many Gill. There's so many different Mexican brands I've tried that I eventually ended up preferring over the original MXs. So I was really excited for this release, mainly in terms of seeing what they improved with the glove over the original. So the first thing you'll notice design-wise is that compared to the originals, which I will be doing a comparison video for those of you that are asking fairly soon, but this one is actually a little bit more of a stockier and shorter glove. It looks a little bit wider in the hand compartment area, and the wrist support is a little bit shorter, so it has a little bit more of a stockier build to it. It's a full genuine leather glove that is handmade in Mexico. They call it piel planchada. The leather itself has a much thicker, high quality feel to it, and it has kind of a matte look to the leather itself. You have that Everlast logo. It's pretty standard for all Everlast equipment, and made in Mexico right there. Rotating to the palm side, you notice that it has gold piping around the thumb, a leather attached thumb. It also utilizes a multi-layer foam padding with horsehair. So it does have a medium to soft density feel over it, which is really good for those of you that really want that nice feedback and pop when you train with these. You do have an oversized grip bar that is really nice and firm, has a good size to it, no ventilated holes, so it does get pretty warm and hot on the inside of the glove. And aside from the difference in padding compared to the originals, is going to be the new wing wrist support system. So it says MXTG 16 for the weight of the glove, and then the wing system. So you have these nice long black laces, but what they incorporated, very much like the Power Lock 2s, and very similar to like the Onyx X Factor or even their Apex gloves, they have these wings. And what that ends up doing is when you put your hand in here, these wings almost act like an extra brace, and it really pulls the thumb closer and the outside edges of the glove closer to really lock your wrist in. So I do like that extra feature. And you can actually see how the inner piece right here of the wrist support kind of slips underneath the other one, and then the wings close down on top of that to really give you a nice supportive feel and a locked in feel. So I definitely like that improvement over the original. You also have a combination of a micro suede liner as well as a polyester nylon liner on the inside. The back of the wrist has about a ½ inch of padding and about a ¼ of an inch on this inner flap padding right there as well, not including the wings that you have right here. So overall, a really nice looking glove. The shape of it reminds me of kind of an older school vintage glove, like the old school Everlast, or even if the Donardo gloves. If you've seen the review I did my Donardo gloves, it has more of kind of like a pillowy look to it, if that's the best way I could describe it. It has a little bit more rounder, but a very kind of plush feel to the glove. And that's probably the best way I would describe this compared to the original, that it has a little bit more of an old school look and feel. Don't forget the MX right here on the thumb as well. Now, quality wise, these gloves, as far as the material goes, is top notch. This is some of the best leather I've seen. By far the best leather I've ever seen in an Everlast product, and it's definitely up there in terms of quality. I mean, the leather on here has a really strong smell to that nice leather smell. It's very thick, it feels very durable, and I love the feel of it. It does feel very high grade and premium in terms of the leather quality. The symmetry of the logos looks really good right there, as well as on the thumb. Their little details, I would say, is probably the biggest opportunity when it comes to the quality of the glove, as well as some of the inside portion of the glove, which I'll explain here in a second. But you see it has an M right there. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe that's the initial of whoever put these gloves together and finished them off. But to me, I mean, that should come off. That's just basic basic, you know, quality control things like that, rubbing that off. And then another thing I notice is the edges. So some of the stitching on the outside edges right there, you can kind of see it's kind of pulling through on the leather right there, as well as, you know, on this area where the thumb attachment is, you can see kind of the stitching kind of pulling on the leather and tearing. And then right here on the finger compartment, you can see a little bit done right there. But really that's it. Outside of that, the stitching pattern is done very nicely, very clean. The leather quality is great. That gold piping looks fantastic. You know, the thumb padding on the back feels really good as well. The MX logo is very vibrant. The glove itself, weight-wise, was on point with weight. They were both almost exactly at 16 ounces for a Mexican-made glove. That's amazing, because most gloves that are made in Mexico are generally overweight. They're getting better with it now. You're starting to see more manufacturers are paying a little bit more attention to detail when it comes to weight, because they get more complaints or they get feedback from their customers. And you can see that the glove is fairly well balanced, so it does a nice job of distributing the weight throughout the rear and the midsection and towards the front of the glove, so it's not a top heavy glove as well. So that a nice rigid support that you get in here does a nice job of bringing the weight more centered to the glove rather than having everything towards the top in the hand compartment area. Now, this is going to be the area that I have the most critique with and the issues with, is going to be the comfort of the glove. Now, when I put my hands in this glove, the first thing you'll notice is there is a different liner that is used on the back portion of the glove that comes up and around towards the front and then ends right around here. And it's that micro suede material. And the issue I have with that is it's pretty rough on the inside, so you'll have to get used to the roughness of it, but it does feel rugged. So you're getting that kind of the trade-off between that luxurious comfort, that silky feel that you find with some gloves like Fly. You know, Donardo has that silky feel, 1v1, even Top Boxers has that nice silky liner. Boxeo TM has that really nice. This one has a much more rugged feel, where the inside palm uses that polyester nylon liner. The other thing is the left glove compared to the right glove, the finger compartment is almost too narrow. And what ended up happening was I found that my pinky finger was constantly rubbing against my ring finger right inside here, to the point where it felt like I was starting to get a blister. And I felt like there needs to be some consistency with both gloves. You know, for me, if you're going to make the gloves, make them the same. The finger compartment needs to be equal. The other thing is there's this big, almost like an additional grip bar right in here that covers the stitching, which is a good thing, but it's super tight. And what that does is you have to really break it in. Matter of fact, I have probably another month of really beating these gloves in to see if I can loosen up this grip bar, because it's so thick that I feel that my fingertips almost go numb because it pushes so hard against the finger compartment, and it gets a little uncomfortable, especially in the left-handed glove compared to my right-handed glove. It just feels much tighter. So I would have liked to see some consistency with the shape and the overall design and the width of the glove, as well as not having such a tight grip bar right there. I mean, they could have made that smaller and had the finger compartment a little bit deeper, and you would have had a much more comfortable experience with that. The next thing is going to be the thumb. Now, the thumb, I was actually able to break it in pretty well. So the shape of it, as far as it kind of being pulled in, doesn't feel bad. It does get a little bit tight here, but I was actually able to really break that in. And that's one thing you do have to remember with these MX gloves, is there is a long break-in period. The issue I have is the left thumb was too short. Again, the consistency between the two gloves. My right thumb was good. My left thumb here is jamming right in here. So what's happening is when I'm landing my jabs or any of my straight punches with the gloves, so you land your punch, right? The momentum of your punch is still moving your hand forward in the glove. Yes, it's made contact. The glove is stopped, but your hand is still somewhat shifting a little bit inside the hand compartment. And so what that's doing is it's forcing my thumb tip, like right here on this inner edge, to constantly jam in that. And it gets pretty uncomfortable. You know, you ever have that feeling where you get like a hangnail and it feels like it's digging into your thumb? That's the sensation I got with this. So again, the consistency of the left glove is not the same as the right. And that's my biggest issue with the quality, is the thumb jamming and the shape of this finger compartment not being the same as the right. Or the right, when I showed you guys close up earlier in the close up part of the portion of the video, you can clearly see that the right glove had a little bit more of a flatter finger compartment that allowed my hands to sit a little bit more comfortably, where this one is more rounded off and it's causing my fingers to kind of crowd on each other. So definitely not a fan of that. But I'm going to continue to break these in, but do keep in mind these gloves are pretty stiff right off the bat. I mean, you can even see opening, I can't even open my hand. That's as far as my hand will go. Like, I can't even force my hand open. It's just super tight. So there's definitely a break-in period, so keep that in mind, and some consistency issues. Granted, you may not have those issues with your pair, hopefully not, if you do get these gloves and they're the same and you have a good comfortable pair of gloves. But mine, my left side, was definitely not as comfortable as my right, and they're very stiff. Now the protection and performance, this is definitely, I would say, not a protective glove and not a balanced glove. It's not a puncher's glove. It's right between being a balanced right in the middle. Like if here's the middle, here's super protective, shock absorbing. Here's like a puncher's glove, horsehair, knuckles go right through. It's right in here. It's like in between a puncher's glove and a balanced training glove in terms of the pop and the feel that you get with this glove, especially with bag work. So the combination of the foam and the horsehair really gives you a nice visceral feel. And that's probably my favorite part about this glove. Other than the quality of the leather, which I love as well, is gonna be the performance in terms of that nice satisfying crack. And you get more protection than the original MXs, which I believe used latex primarily, if not the only type of foam they had in the MX was latex. So I think the combination of maybe closed and open cell foam and the horsehair combination makes the padding area over your knuckles thicker, but it compresses nicely, so when you do land, you can feel your knuckles really sink in to the target, and you get that beautiful, nice popping bang that you're really looking for, and it's pretty protective. I feel that these are more protective than the original MXs in terms of shock absorption. Combine that with this wrist support. The best way obviously is if you have somebody lace these up for you. If you work out and train by yourself, then you can use lace and loops. But to get the maximum benefit of the wing system is to have somebody lace these. That way they can really lock down this upper section to pull that thumb in closer and to really lock in. But this is by far a much better and superior wrist support system than the original MXs. So I definitely love the fact that they integrated this wing system. And honestly, you don't really see that with Mexican style gloves. You know, they're really old school in the way they make their gloves. They really stick to that old school formula and they kind of keep with that, you know, and there's definitely a market for that. But I do love the fact that Everlast did integrate that, because to me that's like, okay, how could we keep that traditional Mexican feel and look, but kind of evolve it and give more support and more performance out of a Mexican style glove. So I do love that. And I love the quality of the leather, the kind of padding they use in here. I love that. My biggest issue with this is going to be the comfort. They definitely need to improve that and make it more consistent. Cost-wise, these gloves are $229, which I think is a fair price, considering the quality is really good with these gloves. The leather is really nice. They integrated some new systems on this glove, like the wing system, the combination of the foam and the horsehair padding compared to the originals, which I believe use latex. Then really nice high quality leather that they use. If they could just fix the comfort issues with this glove and make it more comfortable, if they put like a nice silky liner on the inside, fix the thumb issue and be more consistent with the depth and the width of the finger compartment, then they would definitely have a huge winner with these gloves. As far as the hook and loop Velcro version, I have not tried those yet. If you guys are watching this and you have a pair of the hook and loop version of these gloves, please leave your comments down below on what you think about the Velcro version in terms of the wrist support. That way everybody who's watching this video will know that the Velcro version is comparable in terms of an improved wrist support system compared to the originals, and if it's a better wrist support system. So please comment if you do have the MX2s in Velcro. I'm pretty sure eventually down the road I'll end up getting them at some point, but if you already have them, that'll help out. And I'm also looking forward to their Pro Fight gloves of the MX2. I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming out with those pretty soon. If they came out with the training versions, I'm pretty sure those aren't too far behind. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Everlast MX2 training gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.